Hey there, welcome to the Power Sequencer 1.2 release. Finally, we are getting this one out of the door. Power Sequencer is our open source Blender add-on for video editors, and this update is pretty huge. So you can look at the changelog on GitHub, and you can see the long list of improvements and all, and even the fixes. I just stopped tracking them because we made many changes and got many improvements to the program. I'm not going to do a comprehensive list in this announcement video. I'm just going to show you the main things that we have that we didn't have before, starting with the menu. So we have a full menu with a list of all the operations kind of that we have in Power Sequencer. Maybe not all of them, but the most important ones, thanks to Aditya and a designer whose name I forgot, I'm sorry. You will find the tools that we have in there now to help you better discover what's possible with the add-on. And besides that, you can also press, Z, to open the contextual menu under your mouse. So this one needs improvement. If you want to help with that, it's always welcome. Depending on what you select, you will get different options. As you can see, if you have multiple elements selected. In this release, we've really improved and solidified the add-on all around. So there are lots of new features like the ability to select before and after the time cursor. I'm using Shift E and Shift Q at the moment to do that. You have many things like now a lot of tools that before worked only with one strip now work with multiple strips selected. We've also streamlined the workflow to make it more like a regular video editor. So if you delete a crossfade, for example, it will really remove the crossfade, but also fix the strips that you had before that. So we have many things like these that, again, I invite you to read the changelog. We now have the ability to ignore locked strips as well. So say you have some music, this should be my music track there, and you want to edit to it. I'm going to open the end panel, go to the strip options here, and lock them both. So in the edit strip, I can alt-click on the lock icon, and it will lock all selected strips. So once they are locked now, when you cut, it's not going to affect the locked strips. It still affects the hidden ones, as you can see, but not your locked strips. Which allows you to edit to music. This was a big requested feature, now it's available. So there are many of these, as you can see, but the thing I want to talk about most is BPS Proxy here. Now, we already had BPS Render that we made as a standalone tool, a rendering tool that uses all your processors on the computer. This one got some improvements and fixes as well in this release, so that anyone can use it in their pipeline. Now we have something similar for proxies. And I have to thank François Coyote-Grassin in there because he's a specialist when it comes to video encoding. He's been working on that for a very long time. He gave us FFmpeg presets and explained the parameters to us to create really optimized proxies. So now we have this smart tool that we can use from Python or as a standalone command line executable called BPS Proxy. And this one, you can give it a path to your folder where you have some video files here. And it's pretty smart. For one, it comes with multiple presets. You can enter -P and you have a basic one it's going to use for libx 264. This will produce optimized proxies in terms of size, but also of processing speed in Blender. And you have an option -S to create multiple size. Blender only works with 25%, 50%, and you can create a 100% size proxy. Now they are optimized for size, so the image is slightly compressed. So the 100% proxy, you still don't want to use it necessarily for rendering, unless you're working for YouTube where the video will be compressed in the end anyway. But by default, it's going to use the 25% size, so you don't have to use these two options in this case, because of playback performances in Blender's video sequence editor. You have another preset if you have an NVIDIA GPU and a recent version of FFmpeg, especially on Windows. It's going to use the GPU instead of the CPU or on top of the CPU to process the video. So this can be pretty fast and light on the processor, so you can keep working while your graphics card generates the proxies in the background, right? And this is the one I use on this computer here. So I'm going to press enter, and you will see that the tool is going to check for existing proxies. So although it's external to Blender, it's pretty smart about that. And it's also going to be much faster than proxy building in Blender. Now, the first video it's generating here is pretty long. It might be 10 minutes or something. So obviously the proxy generation is going to take a while. But this tool generates proxies that are lighter, faster, and it does it a little better than Blender. Now it needs testing, so please help us test the tool if you know how to use the command line. On different videos, make sure that synchronization works well. I've noticed that with NVENC, with the GPU generated proxies, sometimes you have a 1 frame or even 2 frame offset in your edit between the edits and the rendering. So that's an issue I've had on this video, although it was an easy fix, but there you go. So besides that, the tools are smarter, they work better, and we are committed to working with the video sequence editor to keep working with it. Regarding the tutorials, please check the changelog. Tell us if there's anything you'd like me to cover, or Guilherme, we can do that. And if you want to help with tutorials, written or not, this would be extremely helpful, because this is a benevolent project, and obviously it can only go as far as the community pushes it. Note that the sequence editor now has a maintainer, Richard Antelig, who's been contributing, and so there are improvements being made on the sequencer right now for 2.8. Now that said, to update Power Sequencer, if you already installed it and you don't have anything to do just yet, all right, the automatic updater will give you a message to download the new version when it's out. You can see that right now I haven't bumped the version number just yet as I'm making this video, but if you need to download it from scratch, you have the instructions on the release page on GitHub. You will see the new release post after when the video is out, obviously. For the next update, we're going to go a little faster. We're going to polish the existing tools and interactions at this point, make the workflow even faster for all the videos we make for GDQuest. So we're hoping to release the next version a little sooner than this one. You will probably ask about Blender 2.8. Blender 2.8 is still in beta, and there are a few issues with the sequence editor at the moment. So I'm waiting to see these stabilized, and we may stick to Blender 2.79 until the next version of Blender, so 2.81. It's not sure yet. We've got to see what comes out of 2.8 and if it's worth porting just now. Because for now, for example, the ability to increase the playback speed by skipping frames like we do in Blender 2.79 is currently not available in 2.8. So this would be a major pushback on the workflow, on the editing speed, if we switch just yet. You can find this video entirely edited in Blender about life in Japan. It's a short documentary in the video description. But that said, I want to thank you kindly for watching. Be creative, have fun, go check out Power Sequencer, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.